Boudica, the fearless queen who defied Rome. Courage comes in many forms, but when it's found in rebellion, it shakes the very foundations of power. This is the story of Boudica, the warrior queen who dared to challenge the might of the Roman Empire. A woman who turned the tables on one of the most powerful civilizations in history. She proved that determination and fury could topple thrones. At the edge of the Roman Empire lay Britain, a land filled with warring Celtic tribes, each with its own leaders and customs. Among them were the Iceni, a proud and fiercely independent tribe. Boudica, their queen, was more than a ruler. She was a symbol of resilience and unity. Her life revolved around her people and family. As the wife of King Prasutagus, she stood at the heart of Iceni society, embodying their traditions and values. But life in Roman Britain was far from peaceful. The Romans, with their insatiable hunger for power, were not just conquerors, they were oppressors. Prasutagus, hoping to safeguard his tribe, made a fateful decision. He named the Roman emperor co-heirs to his kingdom alongside his daughters, believing this alliance would ensure peace. Yet when he died, Rome betrayed his trust. What followed was an act of sheer cruelty. Instead of respecting Prasutagus's will, Roman officials seized the Iceni's lands and wealth. Boudica herself was publicly flogged, and her daughters subjected to unspeakable violence. This brutal humiliation wasn't just personal. It was an attack on her people, her legacy, and everything the Iceni stood for. But Boudica was no ordinary victim. This wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of her rebellion. Fueled by rage and determination, she refused to bow to Rome's oppression. Instead, she called upon the spirit of her ancestors and vowed to fight back. In a time when the Celtic tribes of Britain were constantly in conflict, Boudica achieved what many thought was impossible. She united them. The Trinovantes, fierce and bitter over Roman domination, joined her, lending their swords and warriors to the cause. Together they formed a massive coalition, a united force determined to overthrow the Roman rule. Boudica wasn't just a queen, she became a leader, a commander, and a symbol of defiance. Her fiery speeches ignited hearts, her vision for freedom inspired warriors, and her sheer willpower rallied tens of thousands under her banner. She sought not only to reclaim her honor but to liberate her homeland. And so the rebellion began, with fury and fire. Boudica led her forces to the Roman colony of Camulodunum, modern-day Colchester. This wasn't just a city. It was a symbol of Roman oppression, complete with a temple dedicated to the emperor. To the Britons, it was a glaring reminder of everything they had lost. What happened next was nothing short of catastrophic. Boudica's forces laid waste to the city, demolishing everything in their path. Roman settlers, officials, and soldiers fell before the might of the rebel queen's army. Nothing was spared, and Camulodunum was reduced to ruins. For the Romans, this was unthinkable. For the Britons, this was justice. News of Camulodunum's destruction spread like wildfire. Suddenly, the invincible Roman Empire didn't seem so invincible. Panic gripped Roman Britain. The governor, Suetonius Paulinus, and his legions were caught off guard, as they had underestimated the strength and resolve of the rebellion. But Boudica wasn't done. With the momentum of her victory, she turned her attention to Londinium, modern-day London, the provincial capital of Roman Britain. Though Suetonius evacuated the city before her arrival, Boudica showed no mercy to those who remained. London burned, and its ruins became a symbol of her wrath against the empire. Still, Boudica pressed on, leading her forces to destroy Verulamium, modern-day St. Albans. More fire, more devastation, and more Roman blood. Her army showed the empire that its grip on Britain was far from secure. In just a short time, Boudica and her forces destabilized Roman control over the region. They destroyed cities, crushed Roman morale, and forced the empire to turn its full attention to the revolt. The rebellion reached an almost mythical status, even outside of Britain. Here was a woman, leading a tribal army, standing against one of the greatest empires the world had ever known. Yet, as with most rebellions, the tides were about to turn. Boudica's army was vast but unorganized. Her warriors, while passionate and fierce, lacked the discipline and training that Roman soldiers possessed. Governor Suetonius Paulinus, on the other hand, regrouped his forces and chose his battlefield carefully. A narrow defile protected by hills and forests, creating a bottleneck for Boudicca's larger forces. The final confrontation took place, possibly at Watling Street. Despite their superior numbers, Boudicca's forces struggled against the professional Roman soldiers. Trapped with no room to retreat, the rebellion was crushed in brutal fashion. After the defeat, Boudicca's fate remains shrouded in mystery. According to some sources, she took her own life by poison, refusing to be paraded through Rome as a prisoner. Other accounts suggest she died of illness. Whatever her end, she vanished from history as a living figure but rose as a legend. Rome would continue to dominate Britain, but Boudicca's rebellion left scars. She exposed Rome's vulnerability, showing that even the greatest empires could be shaken by a determined resistance. Boudicca's rebellion wasn't just about conquest or power. It was a fight for justice, freedom, and dignity. She became a timeless symbol of resistance, showing the world that even in the face of overwhelming odds, defiance is not only possible, but powerful. Her story has been passed down through generations as a testament to courage, earning her a place among history's greatest rebels. She was more than a queen. She was a warrior who dared to resist the unrelenting force of an empire, proving that one woman could make a stand that echoes through time. Over the centuries, Boudicca's story has grown into legend. Roman historians like Tacitus and Cassius Dio recorded her tale, emphasizing both her ferocity and the devastation she brought to Roman Britain. But history often blends with myth, and Boudicca has become a cultural figure as much as a historical one. Today, she stands tall, in both memory and statue, as a feminist icon and a symbol of rebellion. In an era that often silenced women, her voice roared louder than armies, challenging the male-dominated narratives of power. For modern audiences, her legacy isn't just about the overthrow of an empire. It's about the strength to fight injustice, to inspire others, and to stand your ground no matter the odds. Boudicca's legacy reminds us that history isn't just about kings, emperors, or conquests. It's about those who refuse to be written out of it. Her rebellion serves as a timeless reminder that power is not inevitable, that tyranny can crumble, and that one voice, when amplified by courage, can echo across centuries. She didn't just fight Rome, she fought for Britain, for her daughters, for her people, and for herself. So remember her not just as a queen, but as a rebellion made flesh. Because Boudicca wasn't just fearless, she was the fear. And Rome, for all its might, couldn't silence her roar.